is Brothers in Combat with Serge Vicente and Darnell Giovanni. No need to fight. Just listen up and get it right. Brothers in Combat, baby. We rollin'! Yeah! All night long. Boom.
Boom, 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 boom. What's poppin', fight fans? And welcome back to one of the greatest duos to ever come together in the history of mixed martial arts, one of the best tag teams in the world. Welcome to Brothers in Combat. I'm your man, your co-host over here, Darnell Giovanni, aka Mystic Black, and I got my man to my left, to my right, or my left, whichever way he is, the boy, the man, California, West Coast, Serge Vicente. What up, baby?
What's going on, my brother? How's everything going today, man? This is another beautiful day to do a fucking great episode, man. How you living?
That's what I'm saying. I couldn't wait. I was waiting for this one today. So much happening, especially yesterday. You got news announced. We had some controversial decisions on the weekend. There's just, when does this stop with MMA? There's always something to talk about. There's always something going on. But we had some fights this past weekend, of course. But before that, how you doing over there, man? How's everything going on the West Side right now? You know us. In Florida, we're crazy over here. But how you guys doing over there?
Y'all acting like ain't no pandemic. I ain't mad at y'all. Y'all out here just fucking living life. Like, I had one of my guys down there said, dude, it was so liberating. I walked outside without a mask on. I was like, you can keep that shit. Like, y'all can have it. But no, brother, we good. It's obviously a beautiful day out here out on the West Coast and in beautiful Los Angeles, California. But bro, I mean, we had a wild fucking card this past weekend in the UFC. We had all the drama, all the action, all the knockouts. But I mean, all combat sports was popping this weekend. We had a fight of the fucking year candidate on the boxing fucking end. There's drama, dude. Chicago's very own Jessica McCaskill is a unified champion once again in women's boxing. Come on, son. It was a great fucking weekend of fights. And I can't lie, I'm really excited to talk about it.
It was a great weekend, but unfortunately, it was not a great weekend for two of these men that main evented the card on Saturday. Leon Edwards, ranked number 3 welterweight in the UFC, took on Bilal Muhammad, who took the fight on a short notice. Shot-town, Chicago represent. Took the fight on short notice because Hazmat fell off. Comes into the fight. Edwards looked pretty impressive in that first round. He almost finished him, to be completely honest. Unfortunately, in the second round, eye poke got pretty deep. Bilal was pretty emotional. Serge, do you think that the referee made the correct decision?
Okay, so let me ask you this, because it is, like you said, did he make the correct decision in terms of stopping the fight? Absolutely. He couldn't continue, yes. What do you mean, like, did he call it fast enough, or should he not have called it? Because if the question is, should he have called it, 1,000% Herb Dean made the right call.
Yeah.
And in that fight, at the end of the day, Bilal Muhammad, look how he was on the ground. He was, going in pain. He couldn't even open his eye.
Yeah.
He couldn't even open his eye for like 3 days. So it had to be stopped.
So after that happened, people are kind of going back to the Aljamain Sterling decision and what happened with that knee. There was a knee on this card as well. Eric Anders in that fight. There was, a lot of controversial things, but should the referee be the person making the decision, or should it be the doctor?
Here's the issue with this, right? Especially over the last couple of weeks, that there's truly no actual rules in place when things like this happen. There's no rules in place really for when the knee, and it's all case by case basis. So it's because, think about it. And for those who do not know, each state has their own athletic commission. So it's literally a new set of rules, no matter where you are. There needs to be that unified set of MMA rules that we're actually working on consistently. So there's something across the board. But when you have guys, literally the man who wrote the rule book and like Big John McCarthy saying, I don't know, there's a fucking issue. In this specific moment, I think they made the right call. I think that this one is when you do bring the doctor in, the doctor makes the call, but it's the referee's job to obviously, let's get him in here. He has to make the call to bring him in. So, but I guess it's on the doc. The doc has to make that specific call. The knee, That's the referee.
Pretty scary, to see the eye going that deep. The replay that they show in the picture, you can just see his
stuck a finger in that
inside in there. I'd bring the photo up, guys, but it's a little controversial. But we got a little clip here from Bilal Muhammad, him talking about the eye, so you kind of get the gist of like what happened.
Yeah, just finally starting to get the vision back. The swelling starting to open up now, so thankfully there was nothing to the eyeball. It was just really bad scratch cornea, and they said the stitches come on 5 to 7 days, and then from there we'll just go on to see like if anything else pops up from there. But thankfully nothing serious. Just more so just like mad about not getting the full fight. That's what I'm mad about. That's like
and of course, well wishes to Bilal on the recovery for his eye, because that is a very, very scary injury. You can see it in the video just now. It's still in recovery. It's going to take some time for him to take stitches out of his eye. Can you imagine having stitches in your eye? Oof.
Dog, Serge, that shit sounds terrible, man.
Does Bilal deserve a rematch?
I'm so happy you said this, because I almost interjected, but I was like, I got to hear what this man's going to say first before I just go ahead and throw this out here.
Before you went there, because that's where he was going to go. But go ahead.
Yeah, I knew you were going that way, so I was like, let me wait for this real quick. Bilal Muhammad, remember the name. He's a fucking monster. I'm such a fan of his. Obviously, Chi-Town, represent gang, you know how we get down. But I'll be very honest with you, man. After watching this fight, I know everyone's like, oh, we need an immediate rematch. Yes, let's do it. Fuck no. No, we don't need a rematch. And I hate to say this. It's one of those things that I saw what I needed to see. Did it finish in a way that we wanted it to finish? Absolutely not. But at the end of the day, Leon Edwards looked like a world beater that night. His timing was amazing. He didn't appear to have any type of ring rust. And he was beating Bilal Muhammad's ass. Everyone's talking about, oh, Bilal Muhammad reversed him in the clinch. Nigga, so? Who cares? I don't care. One thing I did see is a man who almost finished a dude in the first round and was primed to do it in the second round. This fight was not going to go the distance. Leon Edwards was going to win. No, we do not need to see a rematch. I know exactly what it's going to be. And let's be very honest. The only reason he got this fight is because nobody else wanted to take it. This is a one-time shot. That was your opportunity. And at the end of the day, it's done.
I am going to have to disagree. I think that they 100% need to run that back immediately, because it was a foul. It was a foul. He put the eye in the finger. I don't care if he was doing that first round. Second, third, fourth, this is MMA. Anything can happen. Bilal Muhammad just fought Diego Lima. He fought Diego Lima. He was getting calf kicked. Lord knows what could have happened to him in that fight as well. He got there as the fight kept going. Bilal Muhammad is a guy who doesn't have the best first rounds, but as the rounds keep going, he gets better. It could have been more of a competitive fight. And I don't mind watching that again. And I think they can run it back pretty fast after Muhammad's eye heals. And if I'm Leon Edwards, I am not leaving Las Vegas. I don't know if you can find some kind of team to train with, whatever that it is. You barely got to get your feet wet in there. I'd stay here and be on deck for whatever fight can come up as soon as possible. This man waited a year and a half, almost 2 years to get back in the octagon, for him to be in there for one round, get a no contest, and then now you don't know where you sit in that welterweight upper echelon, because you just basically going to get a finish on somebody you maybe could have finished. Too many questions asked, and we need more questions answered. We know how good Leon Edwards is, but we got to see him. Go ahead.
Let me ask you this, and I hear what you're saying. I totally hear what you're saying, but Bilal Muhammad is ranked number 13, right? And I know in the UFC, rankings don't mean shit. We understand that. But does this fight make sense for Leon Edwards? I understand him taking it originally, but moving forward, does it actually make sense? Does it get him in any better position?
For not fight, it doesn't get him in any better position. But the better position that it gives him is more of the winning streak. The winning streak just continues. Now he could be fighting somebody who's number 17. If he beats him, they're just gonna put him there. You know how the UFC works.
Well, let me ask you this.
You're riding the streak than the people on the streak.
Absolutely. Well, let me ask you this then. Does it, I don't think, because me personally, it doesn't make sense for Bilal Muhammad. You've been in there, buddy. You felt him. You're not going to win that fight. And in his heart of hearts, he understands that. He can make all the fucking excuses he wants all goddamn day long and say, oh, this was going this way and I could have, should have, would have done this if I didn't get poked in the eye. Bro, you're getting fucked up and you're going to get fucked up in that fight. I don't want to hear anybody saying like, oh, we saw what was happening. So my thing is this: does this fight make sense for Bilal Muhammad? Because at the end of the day, if he takes this L, they run it back, he takes an L, he goes to the back of the fucking line. But if he doesn't, he give him somebody else within his skill set, within his level, and then he continues his development and everything like that. This was a heat check. Got the heat check, went up there, and here's the thing: nothing happens from it. Nothing bad comes from it. People are even more so on your side. Now, give him somebody number 10. Who I don't know right now who's ranked number 10 in that weight class, but give him like the top 10 guy. And then if he wins that, then he can slowly but surely start making his way and get the development that he actually needs because he's developing so quickly. He's getting so much better. And honestly, this loss, you know how the UFC does. Oh, well, bro, that was your opportunity at the top. You're done.
You might be right. You might be right. Dana White hasn't really commented on it too much, and when he doesn't comment too many times,
we know what it is.
He's probably leaning towards a certain way anyway, so that'll probably happen. But here's an even more question for sure. When is the UFC finally going to integrate the new gloves? And if you guys do not know what we're talking about when we say new gloves, let me show you a little clip. Trevor Whitman put these gloves together, and Rashad Evans was showing them on a Joe Rogan podcast. Check this out.
Yep.
The Joe Rogan experience.
I want to show you these gloves. I brought some gloves to show you. So these gloves right here are what we're going to be doing for the competition gloves. The competition and the training gloves, the 7-ounce training gloves. So pretty much what these are. So this one is the
vegan Rashad Evans.
So is he developed a different glove for MMA for competition as well?
Yeah. So this is
the UFC seen these? They make some adjustments.
We're talking with the UFC, but these are the ones.
Curved. So it sets up that you are in a curved position
already
on.
Because when you, as you know, when you get the gloves now, they're like a cardboard.
They want to open your hand.
Yeah, they always want to open your hands. This allows your hands to stay in a natural fist locked position, and you don't got to worry about that.
Rogan is struggling his ass off.
He can't get his hand in it. But if you guys can see, you see that curve to the top. They used to have
so it's curved right away.
Yeah. And then when you...
That's way better. Yeah, like the old Pride gloves.
Yeah.
Good padding too.
Those are great. Such great gloves.
So
it makes no sense that the UFC isn't adopting those. It doesn't make sense at all. I mean, this is Trevor Whitman's company. He works for the UFC already. He's their like coach, like off camera guy on each fight. So you already have a business relationship with this man. Keep it fucking in house. Thank you so much, Vicente Luque, number 10. Dude, that is an amazing fight. That's the fight you make. Make Bilal Muhammad, Vicente Luque. Something like that makes more sense, and it is the right jump up in level. Because let's be honest, Vicente Luque also is one of those guys that when you think about it, he had his heat check moment where he tried to fight fucking Wonder Boy. And guess what happened? He took this L. Perfect opportunity for the two of them to go at it, and then they can take the proper jump next up to where they need to go. End up being ranked 7, 8, somewhere in the back half of the top 10. It makes so much more sense in my opinion. But to jump back onto these gloves are amazing. They are extremely comfortable. I've had a pair of them on before. They do make you, as soon as you put them in your hands, they like curve your hands so that it's consistently kind of in a fist. So think about this. In the old Pride school, the Pride gloves did the exact same thing. For those of us who remember Pride back in the day, once you put the gloves on, the UFC gloves literally open your shit up. So you're like this, and it literally makes you it's all those century gloves. They literally open you up like this, which doesn't make sense. So at your natural position, this is where you are. And this is why the fighters are poking themselves in the eye, because when their hands are relaxed, because normally what they're going to do is, even if they're throwing that kick, so for instance, the eye poke, what Leon Edwards did, usually when he's throwing, you'll actually have the fist up like this. Where am I, the camera? You have the fist up like this, or it'd be the hand like this. But because the gloves themselves, they're forcing his fingers almost straight out in that manner. Bro, like, it doesn't make sense. If you have a glove here, Pride lasted forever. There were almost no eye pokes. You look at some of these other organizations that embody this.
You never can think of a Pride fight and be like, oh my God, that eye poke was terrible. Never.
Dude,
I don't think.
Look at Ryzen currently.
Yeah.
Ryzen currently uses the same gloves. I watch it all the time. I cannot remember an eye poke. I can't. And let's be honest, you know what it is. It's business. They have a relationship with Century. Dana White ain't trying to fucking go over it. And I'm going to be very honest with you and everybody else. Fam, we ain't getting them damn gloves. We just go, they ain't changing the gloves till somebody's eye ends up in the middle of the goddamn ring, like in any given fucking Sunday. That's what the hell that shit's going to end up looking like. An eyeball in the middle of the fucking thing. That's what's going to end up happening. We already had fucking Michael Bisping blind
Just
ass.
about to say that.
You know what I'm saying?
Until somebody is doing the same thing as Bisping and just I wish I could bring that clip up of Michael Bisping just popping his eye socket out.
Popping his eye out.
He is just so, because the eye pokes, the amount of eye pokes is just ridiculous. And there's a lot of other people who've had like torn retinas, a lot of horrible issues that they're going to have for the rest of their lives when a company who is worth billions of dollars cannot protect their fighters and just get them better gloves. Makes no sense.
And that's the thing. How can you not protect your fighters?
Protect your fighters. Protect your fighters. Get new gloves.
That is your asset. That
you see a grown man in Bilal Muhammad crying on the floor because he cannot see out of his eye. They asked him, "Can you see?" "I can't see nothing." That's scary. That is
terrifying.
It's horrible. Take your finger and poke it in the eye and see what happens. I've done it accidentally before, and it's the worst thing ever. Like I don't blame him for crying at all.
Not even that, bro. Get a piece of dust in your eye. It's the worst fucking thing all day long. It will fuck up your day. Go ahead and get a goddamn piece of sand in your eye. You fucked.
It's a nuisance for sure. But besides that, this past weekend, of course, the news doesn't stop. Yesterday, Dana White puts out a video on UFC, Instagram, their website, and everything, and said, "Hey, I told you we're going to be first. We're back, and we're back with a full house of fans." Just want to make something very clear. The UFC is not first. The first are actually the Texas Rangers in Texas. They're going to have, they plan to have a full baseball game in the beginning of April, I believe. But not surprising, Texas is just the same as Florida here. They've just been living regularly like there's nothing going on. And so Dana White said this a couple months ago. He's like, we're probably going to go to Florida. We had a good relationship with Florida. And guess what? They'll be here in Jacksonville for UFC 261 with a stacked card. Besides just the top half of it, the whole card is pretty nasty. But of course, in the main event, we got Kamaru Usman taking on Jorge Masvidal, part dos. We got Rose Namajunas taking on Zhang Weili, part one. This is the first time this happening. We're excited for that one. And we got Valentina Shevchenko, a.k.a. Valley Chenks, taking on the powerhouse in Jessica Andrade.
The GOAT.
Ooh, this is going to be such a good top. That's the main card, period, is going to be very, very top. But Serge, Usman taking this fight this fast. Usman is a guy who he'll go away for a couple months, maybe 4, 5, 6 months. Doesn't fight too often, maybe twice per year, sometimes just once. He's fighting Jorge Masvidal within 2 months. No tough finale, none of that. Why is Usman taking this fight so fast?
He thinks it's easy money. Let's just be honest. He's like, this is the easiest of money. He's not worried about it. That means he feels as if he's felt Jorge's power. And at the end of the day, I think he doesn't respect him. This also tells me that he's actually healthy for the first time in forever. We're not hearing any of this 30% Kamaru Usman. That means we got a primed and ready Kamaru Usman. And to me, that's not only terrifying, that's fucking exciting. So I cannot wait to see what ended up happening on this one, because here's the thing. If Kamaru Usman goes out there and thinks this is going to be a cakewalk and thinks this is going to be Jorge Masvidal that he beat on 6 days' notice, because think about this. Jorge Masvidal's been training with Bo fucking Nickel ever since, who is multiple-time NCAA national champion. He's been training with some of the best wrestlers in the world because he expected this spot. He's going to have a full fucking camp. There's no excuses. So if Kamaru Usman doesn't come correct, he might get touched. Now, do I think it's going to happen? Well, y'all going to have to wait and tune in to Brothers in Combat right before that happens. So we'll see.
I like to speak on the behalf of Florida. I do live here. I am a resident of Florida.
Oh, I'm going to tell you how I feel about that in a second.
And I must speak, before I go into the fight talk, I must speak on behalf of Florida. Listen, we've been living like this since it began. There's no difference. At this point, there's literally no difference. Do I think it's the right thing to do? No, I don't think it's the right thing to do. But we hadn't been doing the right thing anyways in the beginning, so I don't think it makes too big of a difference. Like when people are
in the words
like,
of Max Holloway, it is what it is.
I'm getting messages left and right. Do I know what's wrong with Florida? I don't run this state. I do not run this state. I did not catch the coronavirus. Never caught it. Never had it. You can tell the way that I live is different. Never had it. But the way the rest of the state lives, I got nothing to do with that. All right, washing my hands with that. Love this state forever, but I got nothing to do with that. I had a friend ask me, "Hey, you want to go up and watch this fight?" I don't. I'm good. I can watch from my house. They can do their first thing first. Go ahead, find out, see what happens. If everybody comes out clean off of that, maybe I'll go to the next event. But for now, it's gonna be a no for me. But anyways, back to the main event.
That's a no for me, dog.
That's a no for me, dog. It's gonna be a no for me, dog. Back to the main event. I think Kamaru Usman must know something because this man does not take these fights that fast. But I already saw Jorge Masvidal tweet this morning. How fast is he going to touch my crotch? How fast is he going to sip my crotch? He did the same thing to you last time, and he took you down, and he dominated you pretty bad. 50-45, 50-45, 50-45. I understand you took the fight on short notice, but I hope he goes in there with a different kind of game plan, because if he thinks he's going to do the same thing and back up against the cage and just let Kamaru Usman just take him down from there, it's not going to work out. And people
now, do you think his cardio will be better this time around? Because I think the 6 days really did affect his cardio. His cardio didn't seem like normal Jorge.
His cardio will for sure be better, but at the same time, if you have a guy like Kamaru Usman on top of you, it's not going to be fun.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. You're going to get tired at some point. You will feel it. But advantages here, Masvidal doesn't have to travel too far. You're not taking long flights to
neither of them do.
Abu Dhabi. Neither of them. You know, they're going to be here, so they can't complain about any of that with, the travel, this, the travel, did that. No, I just hope these guys, of course, don't get injured. Kamaru Usman just came off a camp. It's a little risky going straight into another camp unless your body feels that great and you have no injuries, which is very rare for MMA guys to not have injuries coming off a camp. But he seems to be very confident in this time period. He called for the fight as soon as he was done beating Gilbert Burns. So it should be very interesting. I'm very excited for it. I know people like to, and I have to bring this up, people like to talk about this guy right here, this guy, Conor McGregor right here. Jorge Masvidal has won one fight in the past, but I don't know, a year or two. I want to say that his last win.
18 months.
18 months.
In the last 18 months.
18 months, which is against Nate Diaz, who's not even a welterweight, and he's getting a rematch. Colby Covington came off that loss to Kamaru Usman, beat
but Colby been turning down these fights.
He's been turning correct, but he went and beat a top contender, and he didn't get a rematch. So it shows you the way the Ultimate Fighting Entertainment Championship works sometimes. So don't just blame this guy.
Disgusting.
There's a lot of other guys who get the same exact opportunities, and it shows you to how the UFC works and the business side of it.
I will say this, yes, in terms of the business side of it, but in my humble opinion, 170 is turning into the prima donna division. Okay. None of these dudes actually want to fight. Everybody wants easy matchups and wants to be gifted
I can make
title
170
shots.
tomorrow. I'll make 170 tomorrow. They want this action. I make 170 tomorrow.
Hey, good for you, bro. I got nowhere near 170 tomorrow. I ain't cutting 20 pounds tonight. Hell no. But
good.
Dude, yo, and this total sidebar. Some people don't know, I did used to compete. Most weight I had to cut in less than a week was 30 pounds. I cut from 2 bills to 171 over like in a 6-day span. Dude, the worst experience of my life. It sucks. Cutting weight is the worst thing ever. But you know what made it really bad? And so I rehydrated the next day, right? I rehydrated. I ended up being 194 the next day
Oof.
after I rehydrated. So put on a little bit of weight after that. My opponent saw how much bigger I was, and they called the fucking fight because he only rehydrated. He was a 170-pound dude. They're like, this dude is way bigger than us. Called the fucking fight. I didn't even get a chance. So I cut all that fucking weight for nothing.
Oh my God. Not me. No way.
Tortured my body, bro. It is the worst. I'm talking about eating handfuls of spinach your last like 2 days with capfuls of water. Oh,
But in the co-main event, we got another good fight. Oh my God, Rose Namajunas, the former champion, taking on Zhang
I
Weili.
love it.
This is going to be exciting and so good. We've been waiting for this for a while now. Weili has not fought since she had the decade against last year war, and Rose has not fought since she fought Jessica Andrade. She beat her in a, I think, split decision or majority decision, but that was a good fight as well. They both came off of really exciting fights. Serge, is this going to be a competitive fight, or is Weili Zhang going to just go in there and just dominate Rose Namajunas? Because I'm hearing a lot of sparks of that, and that's weird to me. What do you think?
So I think Weili Zhang is amazing. I really do. I think she's one of the best champions that we have. Obviously, it's important to have a Chinese champion. You want to get that. One championship can't have all the fun, right? We need somebody in that in that market, which I totally understand. I think she's a great kickboxer, or should I say a boxer? She's just a ball of energy. I really love her style. Rose is gonna fuck her up, and Rose is literally better at her at everything. At everything. Rose is a better grappler. Rose is a better boxer. Weili probably has better power. Just being honest. Weili probably has better power. But when you look at her, and I'm thinking about the skill set, and then, bro, that Trevor fucking Whitman factor, the game plans that they put together, they've seen enough. I think they were able to watch. Do you think they didn't watch that fight with her and Joanna and Jacek?
Repeatedly.
They dissected that fight, and they Frankenstein monstered that shit. Between Trevor Whitman and Pat Barry, two brilliant minds in the sport, I do not see a way that Rose does not win this fight. Unless she just gets completely knocked out. Just one shot, just one hit to quit her ass. Rose is tough. Rose is skillful. And she wants it. When Rose is hungry and she says she wants it, 115ers watch the fuck out.
I respect Thug Rose. I respect her so much. She's a former champion. She beat Joanna Jędrzejczyk twice. Not many people can say that besides Valentina Shevchenko, who was on this card as well. But I think there's a lot of other factors to Rose's fight. Number one, she's going through a lot of emotional distress, especially since she lost family to COVID.
She had a
Number
bad
two,
COVID, bad 2020.
Bad COVID, yeah. Number two, she's coming to Florida, where it's scary over here and people are not as protected as before. And she's gonna have that in her mind.
So you're trying to say mentally she gonna be weird?
She's gonna walk in there and see 15,000 people and just be like, oh man. And just thinking about things that's happened to her in the past year, it's scary. So mentally, this is gonna be a tough one for her for sure, if she can get past that. And we have not seen, not to say Rose is always putting out workout clips, but we haven't really seen what she's been doing in this time period as well. Weili Zhang is in the gym. She's in the gym. She has been in the gym.
But Weili, the only reason we see her in the gym is because she shows pictures. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you really believe that Rose ain't in the gym? Rose in the gym.
In there getting better. Not to say Rose is not doing that, but we can see Weili getting better. So I feel like she's going to come into that fight being off that long layoff, which is going to be weird for her because she is somebody who is used to fighting pretty frequently. Rose is not. Rose takes fights more slowly. It's always been her kind of style. She doesn't even have that many fights, honestly. I think Rose has 13 fights, something like that.
Some shit.
Yeah, which is the craziest thing because you think Rose has been fighting for the past 25 years. I don't even think she's 25 years old. You know, it's just.
Dude. Yo, Pat Barry kind of nasty. You think about it, right?
You know, I brought that up with a friend before. And when they started dating, I don't think Rose was.
I was like,
well, we're not gonna go there. We're gonna leave Pat alone. He's a good guy. So,
we're not talking about Paula Van either. We can't talk about that shit.
Hey, our TMZ show comes off after this, and we can talk about the dramas within MMA. We can go deep into that, but that's going to be a really good one. But we got Valentina Shevchenko against Jessica Andrade. That's a very, very, very heavy fight right there. But this is a girl. Go ahead, Serge. Talk about your girl, Valentina Shevchenko. She's not getting knocked out by Jessica Andrade?
No.
She's not getting knocked out by Jessica Andrade?
Dog, this is easy money. This is real easy money for her. Think about it. We're talking about Jessica Andrade, who has lost 2 out of her last, 3 fights and beat up by 115 pounders. So you mean to tell me she's going to move up a weight class and beat the champion that beat the shit out of people that were beating her up? I don't see it happening. Granted, we can't do MMA math. I totally understand that. But if I'm looking for skill, everyone's looking at her like she literally has a puncher's chance. We're talking about puncher's chance against somebody that skillful, that means there's no chance. Let's just be very honest. There's no shot. She doesn't win this fight. And not only does she not win this fight, she gets completely dominated. Completely dominated. I don't even see this being a fight. Completely dominated.
Got a point there, but I don't like the point. Doesn't mean I like the point. Jessica Andrade is coming into that fight 125 pounds.
She lost 2 out of 3, bro, to 115 pounders.
Yeah, but the people she lost to, come on now. It's not like she lost to
the people that she lost to Jessica, lost to fucking Valentina.
MMA math, that's an A plus B, C plus D, Pythagorean theorem, whatever. Put it together.
Man, but okay, so we're talking about those skill for skill, right? The thing that Jessica Andrade has over people is usually physicality.
Yes.
She doesn't have that over Valentina Shevchenko. You forget Valentina Shevchenko. She doesn't. Valentina fought at 35 also. Valentina took down and was dominating Amanda Nunes. So you mean to tell me that somebody who can beat fucking Amanda Nunes can't beat Jessica Andrade? Are you kidding?
She can. She for sure can. But
it's not even going to be a fight, bro. It's not even going to be a fucking fight.
She's going to give her something so completely different with that power, the body shots. Valentina's not going to want to get close. She's not going to want to get close. Once you get close to Jessica Andrade like that, it's a scary fight. Can Valentina fight from a distance? Of course she can, but it's going to be hard with a girl like Jessica Andrade who's gotten better for sure as she's moved up.
How has she gotten better? She's lost 2 out of 3. How has she gotten better?
The Rose fight, she almost could have won that fight. She almost could have. She didn't win that fight, but she could have won that fight. That was a close fight. That was a close fight. That was a close fight. And then she came into the division and just takes out the #1 ranked girl within a round. The worst fucking weight class.
Come on. We're talking about.
She's going to make it better.
She's lost 2 out of 3.
I think this is going to be more competitive than people think. I think it'll be more competitive. But if it's not, let me ask you a question. Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this question. Do we see Valentina and Amanda Nunes, that rematch that you always wanted? Is that what we see?
We don't. We actually don't.
See that?
We don't.
Why not?
What we're going to see is this. Because what they're going to do is this. It all depends on Weili Zhang. It all depends on that fight. Mm-hmm. If Weili can get past Rose Namajunas, that's the fight we see next. If she doesn't, if Rose wins, then we get Amanda Nunes. That's what's going to. Those are the 2 options. It all hinges on Weili Zhang.
Well, I think UFC 262 needs to have an Amanda Nunes fight on there. There's time. She came off an easy win. I want to see her on that card. Add her on to there. And besides that, on this card as well, we got Chris Weidman, Uriah Hall. We got Jimmy Crute taking on Anthony.
With a rematch. People don't know that's a rematch.
That's a rematch. That's a rematch from Cage Fury back in the day.
CFFC days.
Yeah, CFFC days back over there in the Northeast. And they took on each other, and Weidman won a belt then. And these are 2 different guys in their careers, which is going to be very, very, very interesting to see what happens there. But we got Jimmy Crute and Anthony Smith on that card as well.
Let me ask you this. What are your thoughts on, and we can talk about this a little bit because of the obviously Ryan Spann won as well. Uriah Hall has been bouncing around, but he has found a home in Fortis MMA.
Yeah.
He's out there with Saif Saud and those guys. And he honestly looks better in terms of mentally and preparation than he ever has. Is Fortis MMA becoming another one of those super teams in MMA? Or is just Saif Saud that is he that just another one of those Yoda level guys?
I don't know about super teams, but they definitely have guys who are willing to learn and to get better. for sure, and they have good people that are coaching them down there as well. Isn't Travis Luter with them too in that team? Yeah, they got a couple of really good guys. Travis Luter, if you guys don't know him,
Great team.
an ace on the ground, really, really good. Almost beat Anderson Silva back in the day. Should definitely watch that fight. That's actually the first fight that got me into MMA. So that there's one for you. But he almost did. He had him on the ground.
Anderson beat that nigga twice.
It took him. It was a hard fought twice. It was a hard fought victory. But yeah, I think they have a lot of guys who are willing to learn, and that's huge. The only thing that makes me worried about Uriah Hall, and I've seen this way many times, is his damage he takes during sparring and his mindset too. If you ever watch a couple of videos of Uriah Hall sparring, he's always just going way too hard, and he's got to be very careful with that. Very, very careful. But his mental seems to be back in a good place after he's on this little bit of a winning streak. And we're definitely going to see where Chris Weidman is in his career, because if he loses this fight, he's got a lot to think about. He's got too many knockouts. It's very, very scary. He did not look good wrestling against Amari Akhmedov. If they fight again, I think Amari beats him. Like I honestly think he beat him, especially the fight Akhmedov just had recently. My Lord, he dominated. So that should be Tom Breeze too. And Tom Breeze is no easy guy to just dominate on the ground like that. He's very, very powerful. So we're gonna see where Chris Weidman.
If he loses this fight, he gets cut.
For sure. And the UFC is clearly not scared of. They're not scared of cutting anybody. They cut Junior Dos Santos and Alistair Overeem. So
former champions, they don't care. And literally, he's one of those guys that is expensive also. So think about it. All those guys that are talented, former champions and shit, they're getting rid of all of them. They're cutting they're cutting loose for motherfuckers like Kevin Holland, who they don't got to pay shit. They don't got to pay him anything. He fights every other weekend. Do you know what I'm saying? There it is.
Speaking
look at that. Look how he did that.
We got Holland versus Brunson this weekend. This is gonna be a good one. They've been barking at each other for the longest time in each other's DMs, in each other's comments. Kevin talking that crap, Brunson talking that crap. But Brunson's been the guy to put down these up and comers and tell them, hey, you're not ready for the big leagues yet. Serge, is Kevin Holland ready for the upper echelon of the middleweight class? Is this a heat check for Kevin Holland?
This is a heat check. And this is one of those fights that makes me really nervous for Kevin Holland, because I'm a big Kevin Holland fan. I like what he brings to MMA. I love what he brings to the UFC. That energy, a nigga, I love all that shit, right? And the best version of it, you know what I'm saying? But he's one of those dudes. This is the thing. Derek Brunson is somebody that I don't call him a journeyman. I call him a litmus test, right? He's one of those guys, is very similar to RDA. Dana likes those type of dudes, because what he ends up doing is this. I'm going to take my prospect and I'm going to see if my prospect is ready for the big show. And I'm going to put him against this guy. If he can get past this guy, he's ready for the show. He's a top 5 guy, hands down. If you can get past him, you're a top 5 guy. But here's the problem. Derek Brunson is a fucking beast. I thought Edmund Shabazian was going to run through him. He was the brand new toy that we thought was just fucking amazing. And we were just going to keep, and he was going to be the one. He had the Ronda Rousey rub and all the other shit. Motherfuckers loved him. They fed him to Derek Brunson, and Derek Brunson got him the fuck out of there. I'll be very honest with you. If Kevin Holland comes up here and he's not on his shit, he gets knocked out too. Now, do I think that's going to happen? I have no idea. But at the end of the day, Derek Brunson is not somebody that you just walk over. He's not. But if you do walk over him, well, brother, you're special.
I'm going to start off with shout out to my personal fighter of the year last year, Kevin Holland. This guy had such an amazing year. So many fights. Could have won 6 fights last year in a calendar year. That's not done in this sport. It doesn't happen. The guy works hard, always in the gym, always trying to get better, and loves the sport. He loves the art. He loves being a mixed martial artist. And I love seeing that. Derek Brunson, I respect to the most. If you notice the guys that Derek Brunson has beaten in his career, and don't forget, he almost beat Yoel Romero too.
Yoel Romero. He had Yoel hurt.
He had him hurt. And there's not a lot of people who can go in there and push forward on Yoel Romero. We got to respect Derek Brunson, man. Derek Brunson has done a lot in his career and shut down a lot of guys that they thought
Robert Whittaker hurt.
Yeah, Robert Whittaker hurt too, but he just kept when you're in there, you know,
He
with
fought
your
stupid
mind,
that fight.
you
That
fought
was such a
stupid.
dumb fight.
Could have won that fight, and I could have got him a title shot, to be completely honest. But if Derek Brunson can go in there on Saturday and beat Kevin Holland, who's on a streak, we better start talking about Derek Brunson in that title. We better start talking about Derek Brunson in that title because it's been too long.
I'm with you.
It's way overdue. We got to get that man in some kind of contender fight, and to give Israel Adesanya a different. I know they fought already, but I feel like he would kind of go about it in a different fashion, especially seeing Israel Adesanya.
Yeah, he just get knocked out in the third round instead of the first.
Maybe, possibly, but at least he'll get another kind of he'll get a title shot, which his career he's been searching for something like that. But I just feel that Kevin Holland is just too good right now. His mind that he has right now is too strong. He beat Jacare off of his back. That's scary.
Okay,
that is very scary.
Real quick though, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, because he did beat Jacare off of his back, and it was one of the most amazing knockouts that I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
In their careers right now, who is closer to top form? Do you think Jacare or Derek Brunson?
Closer to top form? So for sure, Derek
closer
Brunson,
to
without a doubt, Derek Brunson. Jacare definitely has lost a couple steps. Not just one, not two, not three, couple steps.
That nigga lost like seven or eight of them shits. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And that's not me taking anything away from Kevin Holland, because I think he's a fucking monster. I love what I see from him. He's so creative. And here's the thing about him. He has no fear. You know, he has no fear. He goes out there, he really embraces the grind, he embraces that challenge, and he has fun in there. I'm sold on him. I think he's really fucking good. To me, again, this is that heat check, right? This is what the damn episode damn near need to be called heat check. This is the heat check. You know, if he gets past him, it'll tell me everything I need to know about Derek Brunson. Because not Derek Brunson, I'm sorry, Kevin Holland. Because after this, if he wins this, I actually want to see him against the winner of Darren Till and Marvin Vettori. That's the fight I would want to see next.
You know what I want
to see that.
You know what I want to see next? Whoever wins this fight, hey, there's an empty space waiting right there against Robert Whittaker, willing to be taken. And I know Robert Whittaker.
Well, we'll talk about that.
You know when Robert Whittaker is in a camp, he wants to fight. You know he wants to fight because he's got to diet. He's got to cut that weight. Paulo Costa is now out of his fight. He got sick April 17th. There is now an open space left for Robert Whittaker. I see the winner of this fight coming out unscathed and going straight into that fight for April 17th, especially if it's Kevin Holland. You know how Kevin Holland is? This guy is sometimes sitting home just like, man, what a welterweight fight this came off? I'll make weight. I got you. I want to fight. I'm personally praying that it's Kevin Holland because I know he'll go into that fight immediately, and I would love to watch Kevin Holland versus Robert Whittaker. I feel like that would be fun.
Oh, it would be such a fun fight, because the thing about Robert Whittaker is that he's another one. He'll go to the gates of hell to get a win. You know what I mean? He would dig deep. He don't give a damn. You have to literally put him out to beat him. You know, he's one of those guys, and not many people can put him out. In fact, 2 people can put him out: Wonder Boy, Stylebender.
Yeah.
And think about it. It's because they're dynamic think about the dynamic type of striking. Kevin Holland or they don't have that type of striking. They're not those that dynamic.
Kevin Holland has dynamic striking?
It's different. It's different. No, I'm not saying that he doesn't have good striking. I'm saying it's different. Right?
I mean, dynamic is different.
It's different. I'm not saying it's not dynamic. I'm just saying it's different.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, it's not as, and this is no knock on Kevin Holland, but it's nowhere near as sophisticated or as Adesanya and Wonder Boy. We're talking about 2 guys that are these are world-class kickboxers. Kevin Holland's not a world-class kickboxer. He's a very high-level MMA striker. There's a difference. So that's no knock on him when I say that.
Yeah. What's another hangover?
That's my only thing.
Yeah, Elvino probably was hungover and just couldn't make this
Elvino
fight.
was definitely hungover. That's exactly what happened.
He probably had a bad hangover and couldn't make the fight. Paulo Costa, of course, I hope you get better, brother. But I feel like this is a setup for something really good after that. And I don't think Paulo Costa deserved that fight, to be completely honest. You came off a loss. Whittaker's coming off of 2 wins. To be completely honest, Robert Whittaker should be fighting for a title again. Would he fare well against Israel Adesanya a second time? I I personally don't think so, but
It's just a bad
still
matchup stylistically.
it still would be interesting to see what changes Robert Whittaker can make in the second time because, well, no, I can't say that because when he fought Yoel Romero the second time, I don't think he won that fight. But
Yoel absolutely won that fight. You knocked somebody down 3 times, and it was going 2-2 going into the 5th round. He dropped him 3 times in the fucking 5th round. How the hell does that guy win the fight? Makes no sense.
Makes no sense at all. But this Saturday, that fight is going to be,
and that was in Chicago. Ugh.
It was that was a Chicago card. Oh my god, that was a good one too. That was a Covington RDA and all that jazz on that card, right? I remember.
Yep.
But that's going to be this Saturday, guys. Check out Kevin Holland versus Derek Brunson. That's going to be a lot of fun to watch. But let's do a little transition here. Of course, before we start talking about the fight that was signed, we had one of the best to do it, a legend in the sport of boxing. Marvin Hagler passed away was it Sunday?
Sunday, yeah.
Last Sunday, age 66. If you guys do not know who Marvin Hagler is, you gotta go on YouTube, search his fights. There's plenty of them on there. You can see the legend that this man was and how he went in that ring and put everything on the line. Serge, what's your favorite memory of Marvin Hagler?
My favorite memory of Marvin Hagler is his fight against Tommy Hearns. The most exciting 3 rounds that you'll ever see in your life. Marvin Hagler is, they talk about the golden era of boxing. He's the guy, he's the best out of that mix. And I'm talking about Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran, Tommy Hearns, marvelous Marvin fucking Hagler. The best out of the bunch. Was just an absolute monster, just physically fit. He is one of those guys that his style, let's make it equivalent to MMA, right? It is a very similar style to a Max Holloway. In the way that he can switch stances, the way that he has power in both hands, and he can just move. The way he moves, he switches stances. You never knew where the punches are coming from. And he's one of those guys, and Joe Rogan always talks about before fights, he'd get like riled up. He'd be like, war. This motherfucker was just a fucking monster, man. But the greatest fight I've ever fucking seen is a 3-round fight. Tommy fucking Hearns, marvelous Marvin Hagler. Do yourself a favor. Give yourself a little homework. Treat yourself. Watch that shit. One of the most amazing moments ever. The dude was incredible. Was a fucking movie star in Italy. All kinds of wild shit. The dude is a fucking legend. Salute to one of the greatest to ever do it. Rest in paradise, my brother.
Rest in peace, Marvin Hagler, man. Such an amazing human being and just did so much for the sport, and we will never forget him. We got a big announcement in the world of boxing, finally. We've been waiting. So many things is being announced right now. I guess, we're getting out of whatever it is that's going on. Just that week. But Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua is finally happening. There's no date yet. There's no venue, but the fight has been signed. Sergio, why are they doing this? Please explain this to me. You are the boxing guy. What? 2 fights? Why are we signing for 2 fights? Is that because the Joshua team is scared that they're about to get whooped?
No, I think it's just when you have, it's money. It's money. This is the biggest fight in UK boxing history.
Wait, before
I'm gonna say this again.
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. If Fury goes in there and knocks him out in 1, why am I going to want to watch that again?
Why do we want to go see him fight Deontay Wilder for a 3rd time? We like seeing heavyweights bang. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's seeing people at that high level because, especially with heavyweights, you never really know. They all hit fucking hard. Anything can happen. You know what I'm saying? So we're looking at that. And do I believe Tyson Fury runs through Anthony Joshua? Absolutely. He's much bigger than Anthony Joshua is, which is incredible. He's a far more superior boxer. He can switch up his style. Anthony Joshua is too robotic. I mean, let's just keep it a bean. He keeps his head straight up. He doesn't have any fucking head movement. And I truly believe Tyson Fury is going to go out there and box his fucking face off. Probably end up getting a finish, to be honest with you. But why do they have 2 fights? This is the biggest fucking boxing fight in UK history, okay? This is the first time ever that the British are going to be, well, not the first time ever, because obviously Lennox Lewis he was a unified heavyweight champion, one of the greatest heavyweights ever, if not the greatest heavyweight ever. He's that fucking cold. Like, Lennox Lewis was a fucking monster. So this is the first time that they're going to get that, but to actually have the two best heavyweights in the world to be British, and they're just fucking monsters. This is a huge fight. This is a fight that they want to do twice because no matter what happens, it makes dollars, it makes sense. And yes, it is a little security for both of them because they both have a belt. So if you're a guy with a belt already, you're if you lose, you want to get that back. You want to get your Conor McGregor on, right? I lost. I don't care if I got knocked the fuck out or dominated. Give me a rematch. That's how it is. So they're just writing it in, and so we don't have the drama of it. But remember, guys, this is boxing. Fucking Fury and Wilder had a rematch clause. We ain't getting no rematch. So take that shit with a grain of salt.
Hey, I'm finally ready to see this fight. Of course, I'm finally ready to see Tyson Fury just get all those belts he deserved. You know, he just has one right now, I believe. Correct? He just has one.
The WBC.
Anthony Joshua's got 4 belts, been fighting some blokes that we don't even care about. And now you get to fight a real fight, a big money fight, and a big...
Well, look. We're not going to disrespect Anthony Joshua and say he's just been fighting bums because he hasn't
in
been
the
fighting
past,
bums.
a little bit. Sometimes you'll have
No, everybody he's fought has been some of the best in it. Andy Ruiz, Dylan Wyatt.
Who did he just fight?
Klitschko. Before that, he fought Povetkin. Povetkin just be fucking knocked out Wyatt.
Just now. Who did he just fight? Who's the last guy that he beat?
Dude, okay. So we have to do this, right? I'm for real.
I just mean.
I hear what you're saying, bro. Who the fuck did Canelo just fight? This is boxing.
True.
They're always going to give you some fucking scrub.
I take that back. Anthony Joshua has had some really hard fights in his career, but I just feel like
Andy Ruiz win is a tough fucking win.
This is his toughest fight, 100%.
By far.
If he goes in there and he does something crazy to Tyson Fury, we got to give Anthony Joshua a big name there. We got to give him a big name there. Title. We got to give him a big title there and being one of the best boxers, heavyweight boxers of all time. Ever. And those pound for pound ratings are always weird. Every time I go look at those pound for pound ratings, this never makes sense to me because of who these guys are fighting. For this particular fight, this is going to be a barn burner of a fight for sure. But I think Tyson Fury is just too skilled. Wait, not to say Joshua's not skilled, but Tyson Fury is just too smart, too skilled. And he looks like he's still been working out in this whole COVID time period. They're both living in the same place, so they both struggle with going to the gym. But Tyson Fury seems to be working at it. His mind is still there. And I think he's going to go in there and put on a pretty dominant performance against Anthony Joshua. But, sir, before we're running out of time here, what do we do with Deontay? Deontay is just there, laying there, has no fight. Nobody wants to fight him. What are we doing with Deontay? Who's he fighting next? There's guys he can fight, but is he going to fight him? Is he done? Is he going to retire? Is he going to pay all the child support for his 8 kids that he has? What's going to happen with Deontay Wilder? Please tell me. Please.
Dude, it's you talk about somebody with just a fucking fall from grace. It is just terrible. I was such a Deontay Wilder fan, and the way that he's handled himself after his loss, his first career loss, is just abhorrent, to be honest with you. What happens with him next? Who gives a fuck, to be honest with you? At the end of the day, I'm looking at him. I mean, they're talking about him fighting Andy Ruiz possibly next, and I'm telling you right now, that fight can go either way. I don't know if you've seen Ruiz recently. He's ripped. Yes, Eddie Ruiz's fat ass is ripped now. And he trains with Eddie Reynoso, who in my opinion is the best fucking coach in all of boxing, the best team in boxing. He trains over there with he's a part of Team Canelo now. Eddie Ruiz with Team Canelo is a scary fucking prospect. So that is an opportunity to fight there. But let's think about this also. Let's say this fight does happen this year, right? I'm talking about in terms of Fury and Joshua. The best possible scenario for Deontay Wilder is for Anthony Joshua to win. And the reason that is the best possible scenario, because what you can say is this. He beat me. Now you have to fight me, because if I beat you, now we got this fucking round robin thing, and now we literally got the best fighting the best, and any man could fucking win. So that is the best possible scenario for Deontay Wilder. Because here's the thing. He still is Deontay Wilder. He still has scary power. But mentally, I just don't know where the fuck he's at. I don't. I generally do not.
I said this after his last fight, and I'm looking at my boy as we're watching the fight. I'm like, if Deontay Wilder loses this fight, he's going to be in a very weird position. Very weird position. It kind of takes you out of that.
Bad, right?
Yeah, it just takes you out of that talks of those top four guys that they always talk about fighting each other, and it just eliminates him for that unless he does something to put himself back in those talks. Mentally, he doesn't seem like he's there. He's still talking about the last fight from a year and a half ago. You're still talking about that. You got to get past it. It's you're showing all your true colors and how you work with things mentally. So I think that's a great fight, Ruiz versus Wilder. I would love to see it. I'd watch it. I think Andy Ruiz would put on a performance and a half against Deontay Wilder. And then we can see where both these guys are at. And then maybe the winner of that fight, well, they'll have to wait a little bit because unfortunately this is a 2-fight.
Those are the top four guys, though.
Yeah, Andy Ruiz,
those are the top four heavyweights.
Joshua and
Fury.
And Fury. What about Usyk?
Yeah, that nigga's he's a cruiserweight. Like, and he didn't impress me in his last fight. I generally don't believe. I think Usyk is great. Okay, I think he's great. He was a unified champion. We can't be mad at that, especially at cruiserweight. But he doesn't seem like he's big enough for heavyweight. And his last fight, yes, he got a win, but it wasn't impressive at all. And when I saw it, I was just like, these heavyweights might fuck you up, bro.
I'd love to see Usyk against Tyrone Spong. Tyrone Spong still wants to keep boxing. There you go.
Beat his ass. Tyrone Spong beat your ass.
Beat your ass. If that happens, woo! Can you imagine Tyrone Spong being talked within that top upper echelon heavyweight division? Give me that.
Dude.
Give me that.
Dude,
give me that.
Tyrone Spong was one of my favorite. He's still one of my favorite kickboxers of all time. When he was teasing fucking MMA and he was fucking dudes up those like 3 MMA fights when he was with the Black Zillions. Oh, dog.
Scary.
And then he fucking fought Gokun Saki and broke his goddamn leg and didn't feel like kicking nobody ever again.
Don't blame him.
That's we'll see. But I love dude. He was so terrifying.
Love Tyrone. Hopefully, maybe we'll have him on the show one of these days. Get him on here. We'll see if we can make that happen. But guys, we appreciate you, of course, for watching today. I told you we'd be back every week. We're always here. Of course, you can catch Sergio on The Fight Podcast at The Fight Podcast on YouTube, on Instagram, streaming on all your podcasts where you can listen to them on. And of course, me at Mystic Black, MMA, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, everything. It's on there. But together, we are the Brothers in Combat. We will be back next Tuesday right here every week to talk fights. We got a good card coming up next Saturday. There's just so much to talk about always. And
so much good fights.
For being here. Serge, anything you want to say to people before we head out?
Yo, everybody who tuned in, man, watching us live on YouTube and Facebook and everything. Thank you guys always for joining us. As always, everyone who's listening to the podcast, I appreciate you guys. Support Mystic Black MMA. Support The Fight Podcast. Support Brothers in Combat. We are not your average MMA show, okay? This is how we get down. This is what we do. You want the best breakdowns with having the most fun? Holla at us. Let people know about the best show in town, Brothers in Combat.
One place, right here. Appreciate you guys. Sergio, Darnell, we out. Boom!
Peace.
Peace.